You trust Bleach to keep your home safe. But what if the product you are pouring down your sink is doing more harm than good? One brand on this list was caught marketing itself as family safe while releasing fumes harsh enough to make your eyes water the moment you twist the cap. And it is probably sitting under your kitchen sink right now. We found 9 brands you need to stop using immediately, but we also found 2 that passed every safety check we could throw at them. 9 dangers, 2 solutions. Stay with me. Coming in at number 9, we have got Bloo Bleach Toilet Cleaner. Bloo markets itself as the easy clip-on way to keep your toilet fresh. Bright blue liquid, pleasant scent, and a promise that it works around the clock. Sounds harmless. But here is the part they do not advertise. That bright blue color is not just for show. It comes from synthetic dyes, and when those dyes mix with the chlorine in the bleach, they release volatile organic compounds. VOCs. You cannot see them. You cannot always smell them. But every time you flush, they become airborne in one of the smallest, least ventilated rooms in your home, your bathroom. Now think about that. If you are over 50 and you have got respiratory issues, maybe COPD, maybe mild asthma you have managed for years, those fumes collect in a closed space and you are breathing them in every single time you walk in there. And because the product is designed to sit in the bowl permanently, you are not getting a break from it. It is constant exposure, day after day, week after week. A 2022 study published in the American Journal of Respiratory and Critical Care Medicine found that regular exposure to cleaning product fumes was associated with a measurable decline in lung function over time, particularly in adults over 50. That is not a fringe study. That is peer-reviewed, published research. And here is the betrayal. The label says fresh and hygienic. What it does not say is that you are inhaling chemical vapor every time you use the loo. For someone on blood pressure medication, compromised lung function means your heart has to work harder. Your oxygen saturation drops just lightly, your pulse picks up. And over months, that repeated low-level stress takes a toll on your cardiovascular system. That is not a cleaning product doing its job. That is a health hazard parked in your bathroom, working against you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, while the packaging smiles at you in bright blue and promises freshness. At number 8, we have got Parazone Original Bleach. Parazone has been around for decades. It is one of those names that feels trustworthy because your parents probably used it. But familiarity does not equal safety. Parazone Original contains a high concentration of sodium hypochlorite. Now, sodium hypochlorite is the active ingredient in most bleaches, but concentration matters enormously. Parazone sits at the higher end, and when you use it in a poorly ventilated kitchen or bathroom, the chlorine gas it releases is strong enough to sting your eyes and catch in your throat. If you have ever unscrewed that cap and felt that sharp, burning hit at the back of your nose, that is not just a strong smell. That is a chemical reaction happening inside your airways. For seniors managing chronic kidney disease, this matters more than most people realize. Your kidneys are already under stress filtering medication. Add regular chlorine gas inhalation, and you are compounding the toxic load your body has to process. Reports from NHS poison control data show that bleach-related injuries in the home spike every single year, with burns, inhalation incidents, and eye injuries making up the bulk of cases. Parazone's concentration means a small splash travels further and does more damage than a diluted formula would. And when you're older, your skin is thinner. A splash that a 30-year-old shrugs off can leave a chemical burn on someone in their 60s or 70s. The packaging says powerful clean. What it should say is handle with extreme caution, especially if you are over 50, but that does not sell bottles, does it? Instead, you get a cheerful label, a familiar name, and absolutely no warning that this product has a documented history of sending people to hospital when used in small spaces without proper ventilation. That thick, yellowish liquid looks innocent enough sitting under your sink, but the moment you crack that seal, the chemical reality hits you before the first drop leaves the bottle. And if you think that's concerning, wait until you hear what number 5 on this list was caught doing. That one genuinely shocked us. Now at number 7, it is Domestos Original Thick Bleach. This is the big one, the one you see in almost every home in the United Kingdom. Domestos has spent years and millions of pounds telling you it kills 99.9% of germs. That thick blue liquid clinging to the inside of your toilet bowl has become synonymous with clean. But clean and safe are not the same thing. Domestos contains sodium hypochlorite at concentrations designed for maximum germ-killing power. But it also contains surfactants and fragrance compounds that, when combined with heat or other cleaning products, can release chloramine gas. Chloramine is not something you want in your lungs. Even in small amounts, it causes coughing, chest tightness, and shortness of breath. Here is where it gets personal for anyone over 50. If you are taking ACE inhibitors for blood pressure, those medications already affect how your lungs handle irritation. Add chloramine exposure on top of that, and you are creating a situation where your body is fighting on two fronts. Your airways are inflamed, your blood pressure medication is already affecting your respiratory response, and now you are bent over a toilet bowl inhaling fumes from a product you thought was keeping you safe. And here is the betrayal of trust. Domestos runs campaigns about hygiene and protecting your family. But the safety data sheet for Domestos Original lists it as corrosive, harmful if inhaled, and dangerous to aquatic environments. That is not on the advert, is it? That is buried in technical documentation that no one at home ever reads. Why do you think the biggest cleaning brands spend millions on advertising, but almost nothing on telling you how to use their products safely? Think about that. They have got the budget, they have got the platform, but instead of a clear warning on the front of the bottle, you get a picture of sparkling porcelain and the promise of a germ-free home. Meanwhile, the real information is printed in tiny grey text on the back, in language designed for chemists, not for a 68-year-old trying to clean the bathroom before the grandchildren visit. There is a way to get a properly clean home without these risks. We will show you exactly what to use instead. But not yet. That comes at the very end. Number 6 on the list is Tesco Thick Bleach, their own brand product. Supermarket own brand bleach is where a lot of people go to save money, and fair enough, but cheaper does not mean simpler, and it definitely does not mean safer. Tesco Thick Bleach uses a formulation designed to compete with branded products, which means the sodium hypochlorite concentration is pushed as high as they can manage, while still pricing it at under £1. The problem is, at that price point, the quality control on fragrance additives and stabilizers gets questionable. Multiple customer complaints posted on review platforms have flagged Tesco bleach for having an unusually harsh chemical smell, even compared to other bleaches. Some reported headaches after using it in small bathrooms. Others said it left a residue that irritated their skin when they touched surfaces afterwards. Now, Tesco is not going to may cause headaches and skin irritation on a product that costs 79p. But if you are a senior on a fixed income, buying the cheapest bleach to save a few pence, you need to know what you are trading off. According to the Royal Society for the Prevention of Accidents, household cleaning products account for thousands of injuries each year in the UK, with bleach being one of the most common culprits. The cheap stuff is not saving you anything if it is sending you to a GP for a skin reaction or a respiratory flare-up. And for seniors on fixed incomes, an unexpected medical appointment, a prescription for a steroid inhaler, or a course of antibiotics for an infection caused by chemical irritation costs far more than the 50p you saved on a bottle of bleach. The texture of this product is worth mentioning too. It is thinner than branded alternatives, which means it splashes more easily when poured. One careless tilt and it is on your hands, on the countertop, on your clothes. And thin bleach on thin skin is a recipe for trouble. The burning starts almost immediately, a hot, prickling sensation that tells you something is very wrong. Have you ever had a bleach product cause a reaction you did not expect? Drop it in the comments. Let us see how common this really is. If this is helping you stay safer at home, hit subscribe. It is free and it means you will never miss these exposes. At number 5, we have got Sainsbury's Thick Bleach. This is the one I mentioned earlier, and here is why it shocked us. Sainsbury's positions itself as a slightly more premium supermarket. Better ingredients, better standards. You would expect their own brand bleach to reflect that, but what we found tells a very different story. Sainsbury's Thick Bleach contains added fragrance compounds that are designed to make the product smell fresh and clean. But fragrance in cleaning products is one of the biggest hidden dangers for seniors. The word fragrance on a label can legally cover dozens of individual chemical compounds, and manufacturers are not required to disclose what those compounds are. It is a loophole, and the industry uses it constantly. Some of these hidden fragrance chemicals are known respiratory sensitizers. That means they can trigger asthma-like symptoms even in people who have never had asthma before. For someone in their 60s or 70s who has been breathing fine their whole life, suddenly developing a wheeze or a persistent cough after cleaning the bathroom can be terrifying. And most people never connect it to the bleach. If you're on heart medication, particularly beta blockers, your body's ability to respond to respiratory distress is already altered. A sudden breathing difficulty caused by chemical sensitization can escalate faster in someone on cardiac medication than in someone who is not. That is a medical fact most people never hear. Sainsbury's promises quality. But quality should mean transparency, and hiding dozens of unnamed chemicals behind the word fragrance is the opposite of transparent. Is it not strange how supermarkets will list every ingredient in a ready meal but refuse to tell you exactly what is in the bleach you breathe in every week? There are 2 products out there that actually got this right. Fully transparent, fully safe. We will get to them, but not yet. First, you need to see what the rest of this list is hiding. Number 4 is Asda Thick Bleach. Asda follows the same playbook as the other supermarket own brands. Low price, high concentration, and a label that tells you almost nothing useful about what you are actually pouring. But Asda's version has drawn specific criticism for its viscosity. It is designed to be thick, to cling to surfaces and toilet bowls. That thickness means it sits where you put it. It does not rinse away quickly, and while it sits there, it is releasing chlorine gas steadily into the air around it. Imagine this. You squirt Asda bleach around the inside of your toilet bowl, close the lid, and walk away. 50 minutes later, you come back to flush. You lift that lid and a concentrated pocket of chlorine gas hits you directly in the face. Your eyes water, your throat catches, you cough. For a healthy 30-year-old, that is uncomfortable. For a 70-year-old with a heart condition, that sudden inhalation of concentrated gas can cause a spike in blood pressure, chest pain, and in severe cases, an arrhythmia. That is not scaremongering. That is what happens when you expose a compromised cardiovascular system to a chemical irritant without warning. Asda's label says, powerful cleaning action. What it does not say is, do not inhale the trapped gas after leaving the lid closed. But you would think a responsible company would at least warn you. A simple line on the packaging, a small icon, anything, but there is nothing. Just a bright, confident label and a product that, if used the way most people naturally use it, becomes a chemical trap in your own bathroom. For seniors who live alone, there is no one there to open the window first, no one to remind them to stand back when they lift that lid. It is just them, the bleach, and a closed bathroom door. That is a scenario that plays out in hundreds of thousands of homes across the UK every single week. But this is still nothing compared to what is coming up. Number 2 on this list did something that makes all of these look tame. Keep watching. Coming in at number 3, we have got Lidl W5 Thick Bleach. Lidl has built a reputation for being the budget-friendly alternative, and their cleaning products are no exception. W5 bleach comes in at one of the lowest price points on the market, and it sells in massive volumes. But here is what you need to understand about rock-bottom pricing in cleaning products. When a manufacturer cuts the price that low, something has to give. In the case of W5, what gives is the quality of stabilizers used in the formula. Stabilizers are what keep bleach predictable. They control how fast the sodium hypochlorite degrades and how much gas it releases at room temperature. Cheaper stabilizers mean a less predictable product. That means the fumes you get from one bottle might be mild, and the fumes from the next bottle might be significantly worse. For anyone with diabetes, this inconsistency is a hidden danger. Diabetes already affects circulation and healing. Chronic low-level exposure to unstable bleach fumes can irritate mucous membranes, which in a diabetic patient can lead to infections that take longer to clear. Something as simple as cleaning the kitchen becomes a risk factor you never anticipated. A 2021 report from the European Chemicals Agency flagged concerns about inconsistent formulations in budget household cleaners, noting that products at the lowest price points showed the widest variation in active ingredient concentration from batch to batch. That is not a one-off finding. That is a systemic issue with cheap cleaning products across Europe. You think you're saving money, but what you're actually buying is inconsistency. And when it comes to chemicals in your home, inconsistency can be dangerous. One week the bottle seems fine, the next week you open a new one and the smell nearly knocks you sideways. That is not normal variation. That is a product that is not being held to the standard it should be. And you, the consumer, are the one who pays the price. Not with money, but with your health. For anyone managing multiple medications, the last thing you need is an unpredictable chemical exposure, adding another variable to an already complicated picture. Your doctor carefully calibrated those doses. Bleach fumes were not part of the equation. What brand of bleach do you keep under your sink right now? Tell us in the comments. You might be surprised how many people are using the exact same ones on this list. We are almost at the top of the list now, and the last two entries are the ones that genuinely alarmed us. If you have been watching this far, do not leave yet. The worst is still to come, and the solution to all of this is waiting right at the end. Most people never find out about it. You will. At number 2, it is Aldi Powerforce Thick Bleach. Aldi and Lidl often get compared, and their bleach products are no different. But Aldi's Powerforce has one issue that puts it a step above Lidl in terms of danger, and it has to do with the bottle design itself. The cap on Aldi Powerforce bleach has been flagged in consumer reports for being difficult to secure properly. It looks closed. It feels closed, but it does not always seal. That means if the bottle tips over in your cupboard, under your sink, or in a carrier bag on the way home, it can leak. And concentrated bleach leaking onto other surfaces, onto your hands, or onto food contact areas is a serious safety hazard. Now picture a senior with arthritis. Gripping that cap tightly enough to seal it is a genuine struggle. Checking whether it is fully closed requires grip strength and dexterity that a lot of older adults simply do not have. So the bottle goes back under the sink, not fully sealed, and the fumes start escaping into the cupboard. Over days, those fumes can corrode other containers, react with other cleaning products stored nearby, and create a low-level toxic atmosphere right there in your kitchen. The Health and Safety Executive has documented cases where improperly sealed bleach containers reacted with stored products containing ammonia or acid-based cleaners, producing chloramine or chlorine gas in enclosed cupboard spaces. That is a real scenario that has caused real hospitalizations. It is not hypothetical. It is happening in homes across this country. Aldi markets Powerforce as strong, reliable, and affordable. What they do not mention is that the packaging itself might be working against you. And for seniors living alone, a slow bleach leak under the sink can go unnoticed for weeks. By the time you smell it, the damage to everything around it, and possibly to you, is already done. Do you ever wonder why billion-pound companies cannot seem to get something as basic as a bottle cap right? Or is it that they just do not think it matters enough to fix? And at number 1, the brand that shocked us more than any other on this list, it is Morrisons Thick Bleach. Now, before you say it is just another supermarket bleach, hear this out. Because what Morrisons did is not just about the formula, it is about what they promised versus what they actually delivered. And the gap between those two things is the widest of anything on this entire list. Morrisons has run promotional campaigns positioning their cleaning range as family safe. Those words were used in marketing materials, family safe. That implies a level of testing, a level of care, a standard that goes beyond just killing germs. It implies that you, your children, and your elderly parents can use this product without undue risk. When you read family safe, you believe it, you relax, you stop checking. But here is the reality. Morrisons Thick Bleach has one of the strongest chemical odors of any supermarket bleach we examined. The sodium hypochlorite concentration is comparable to branded products, but the fragrance and stabilizer package is noticeably harsher. Open the bottle and the smell hits you before you have even poured a single drop. That sharp, acrid bite at the back of your throat, your eyes begin to water. If you are leaning over a toilet bowl or a sink, you are getting a concentrated dose of those fumes directly into your respiratory tract with nowhere for them to go. For seniors, particularly those on blood thinners like warfarin, the concern goes beyond just breathing difficulties. Chronic irritation of the airways can lead to inflammation. Inflammation triggers immune responses, and immune responses can interfere with how your body processes anticoagulant medication. The interaction is subtle, but it is documented. A 2023 review in the British Journal of Clinical Pharmacology noted that chronic chemical irritant exposure could affect drug metabolism in elderly patients on long-term medication regimens. That means the bleach under your sink could be quietly undermining the medication your doctor prescribed to keep you alive. And the betrayal here is the worst of all 9 entries on this list. Morrisons used the words family safe. They put that claim out there deliberately. They printed it, they promoted it, and the product behind that claim is harsh, concentrated, and poorly stabilized for home use by vulnerable people. That is not an accident. That is a marketing decision. Someone in a boardroom decided that those 2 words would sell more bottles, and they did not stop to think about the 75-year-old widow cleaning her kitchen sink who trusted those words completely. That is why it is number 1, not because the formula is the single most dangerous on this list, but because the gap between what they promised and what they delivered is the widest. And when trust is broken like that, especially with seniors who are already vulnerable, it is unforgivable. You go to Morrisons because you trust them. You pick up their bleach because the label says it is safe for families. And then you take it home, you open it in your kitchen, and the first thing that happens is your body reacts. Your eyes sting. Your throat tightens. Your chest feels heavy. That is not clean. That is chemical assault dressed up in a green and yellow bottle. And the fact that a major British supermarket thought it was acceptable to market it as family safe tells you everything you need to know about how much these companies prioritize the people buying their products. The answer is not enough. Not nearly enough. Now, remember earlier when I said there were 2 products that actually passed every check? I promised you a solution to all of this. Here it is. The first safe option is Ecover non-chlorine bleach. Ecover uses oxygen-based bleaching agents instead of sodium. Hypochlorite. That means no chlorine fumes, no chloramine gas risk, and no corrosive splash danger. It is effective against common household bacteria and is formulated without synthetic fragrances, which means your lungs and skin are not taking a hit every time you clean. For anyone on heart medication, blood thinners, or managing kidney issues, this is a product that cleans without adding to your body's chemical burden. The ingredients are fully disclosed, plant-based, and biodegradable. No hidden compounds, no loopholes. What you see on the label is what you get. The second recommendation is Bio-Desanitizing Spray. Bio-D is a small British company that manufactures in Hull, and their sanitizing spray uses no chlorine, no synthetic preservatives, and no fragrance at all. It is hypoallergenic, making it suitable for people with sensitive skin, respiratory conditions, or chemical sensitivities. Bio-D has been certified by the Vegan Society and is listed as safe for use around vulnerable people. For seniors, this is the product you want when you need to disinfect kitchen surfaces, door handles, and bathroom fixtures without worrying about what you are breathing in. It does the job, and it does it without the hidden risks. Simple, transparent, safe. These are the 2 products that earned their place. No gimmicks, no misleading labels, just honest cleaning products that do what they say without putting your health on the line. That is the solution I have been holding back all video. One simple swap and you eliminate the risks we have spent the last several minutes laying out. Every week, we uncover the hidden dangers in products millions of people use without thinking twice. If you want to know what is actually safe and what you should be throwing away today, hit subscribe now. One video could be the difference between a product that protects you and one that quietly harms you. Subscribe now, and if you're watching on TV, tap your remote so you never get blindsided again.